Hi, and welcome to our webinar with Paessler, Director of Sales and CEO of Qbilon. My name is Hanan Zahavi, and I'm from Multipoint. We established in 2009 an add-on distributor, international, and we're very proud of this unique opportunity to show you the different variety of PRTG, Paessler, and the new inventions. A little bit about us. We're spread in Europe, Africa, Middle East. We have all you need to do a great job in PS, in professional services, engineering, pre-sales, and ourselves to help you define your customer needs. Let's go a little bit further. What do we offer? We offer cybersecurity solutions, network solutions, and professional services. We have data security, DLP, vulnerability patch management, web application. In the network side, we have discovery, monitoring, auditing, firewalls, SSL VPN, and of course, we have trained professional services. This is how we spread. It's all over. We're ready to help you wherever you are. Some of our great products come from great vendors. You will find here, beside of Paessler PRTG, other data discovery, auditing, vulnerability management by Qualys, Invicti, Tenable, HCL. We have patch management, inventory, NDR, unified. When you go to privilege management and identity management, we do have Delinea and even Networks even going into privilege management now. Network security, device visibility, this is where we are now with Paessler PRTG. We can offer you much more in any deal. So thank you very much. We do have a value-added service to our technology, and we wish to transfer you to Julian and to Slava in their great offering of new products and new inventions.
Thank you, Hanan. I think it's now our part. Yes, is it?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So you need to let go your screen so I can share mine, please. Okay, thank you. And so I hope to see my screen. So thank you very much for the introduction, Hanan. I will switch off my camera so you don't get distracted. So as I said, my name is Slava. I am responsible for sales in your region, and today we will give you a little refresh up what we're offering and what's coming next in 2024. So if you have any questions, please ask them in the Q&A window. So if we will not be able to answer them directly, we'll be able to get in touch with you via email because Zoom is storing the questions. So today with me is Julian. Julian is the CEO of Qbilon, which is our part of our infrastructure. Thank you. And Julian can spend a couple of words about himself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Julian Kienberger. I'm one of the founders of Qbilon and the CEO. We've been a part of the Paessler family since April 2023, and I'm here to show you what Qbilon is and what it can actually contribute to assessing and to make an assessment for an IT landscape. So you will hear from me later, and now I can give back to Slava.
Thank you. So I assume strongly that guest who is joining today, I already heard about Paessler and our product, but still I'd like to give you a little update who we are and what we're doing. So we're the monitoring experts, founded back in 1997, and since then we're on the monitoring market, one of the market leaders. So we went actually through all the stages of the typical IT company, from the garage stage now into the multinational international company. So we are proud to have more than 500 employees from over 40 countries or 40 nationalities, and we have customers in over more than 190 countries and all over the world. So all in all, more than 500,000 installation worldwide. So the PRTG is meanwhile 20 years old. So from the very first release back in 2003, now we're heading towards version 2024 in the first quarter next year. And meanwhile, we're offering not only the monitoring of a standard IT infrastructure, we already added a lot more than simple IT monitoring. So we're also able to monitor the OT environment, healthcare environment, and that, of course, helps you to master your IT and OT environment best without sorrowful shortages and failures which need a long time to be repaired. So this is your network. With our software, you're saving money, save time, and save nerves. So this is a short version. The PRTG, the Paessler PRTG is able to monitor whatever you can reach in the network with the standard protocols. So we're not using anything special. So we're not using any agents. So this is just a reminder. So we are agent-free software. And as you see here, typical members of the modern IT or production infrastructure. So that consists of applications, cloud monitoring, CCTV, classical IT infrastructure, networks, smart building, databases, many others. In addition to that, we're also offering the IoT out of the box with a couple of protocols supported, and the healthcare. So for those who's reselling our product or applying it in its own infrastructure, it is very good to know. If you're working in a production, in an industrial environment, you can include operational technology into PRTG without any additional efforts. Same for healthcare-related protocols like HL7 and DICOM. So if we talk about traditional monitoring protocols, whatever is existing in a modern infrastructure is supported by PRTG out of the box. So you see here many familiar names. And in addition to that, again, a bit deeper listing the Modbus, MQTT, and OPC-UA out of the box, and HL7 and the DICOM from the healthcare side. So thus, you can monitor every aspect of your infrastructure out of one software, Paessler PRTG, and this is your solution. So do not forget, it's agentless, and it's one solution to monitor everything. So with this, you can by using typical web interface or installable software or iOS and Android application, you can monitor and administrate your PRTG. So you are able to monitor distributed locations, so different locations like local network, branch offices, remote offices, partners, customers, and so on. You can also offer monitoring as a service. And with very little effort, you can craft your own PRTG. So you don't need a doctor grade, a master grade to create something customized within PRTG, because we're offering you a building blocks where you can create your very own version of PRTG. So PRTG exists in 3 different flavors. It is always the same engine, but you can have it as a perpetual license. So the classical PRTG network monitor can work offline, can be installed on premises, on a virtual machine, on the bare metal, and it's effective in all environments. And very, very interesting for those who doesn't want to his software go away, telephone home, and so on. So PRTG network monitor can be activated offline and operating offline. So defense, healthcare, governmental, very relevant. The other version of PRTG, again, same engine, but in this case, it is a hosted version where the server is based in the cloud, in an AWS cloud. So we take care of maintain your server. So in this case, you need a connection to internet, but it also has an advantage that you don't have to buy the software. You only subscribe it, and you can start or stop the subscription on a monthly basis. And the third and the newest version of PRTG is an enterprise monitor designed for distributed monitoring of large infrastructures. Is subscription-based, but can be installed on premises and also operates offline. So perpetual, offline possible, hosted, clear subscription-based, and enterprise is subscription-based, but can also work offline. And for the hosted version, we have a lineup of hosting locations, so hosting regions, so the customer can decide which AWS instance should they use. Okay. So, and this is just a short reminder, short refresher on PRTG itself. But PRTG family is from now on larger than PRTG only. So we have our PRTG extensions, and if we talk about the in order of appearance, so we added recently the PRTG OPC UI server, which helps you to consolidate your IT and OT views. If you have your OT network and the components are not compatible with any of protocols supported by PRTG out of the box, then you can install PRTG OPC UI server in between, and this OPC UI server will translate the messages between OT world and of the OT infrastructure and your PRTG, which can also monitor then at the same time the IT infrastructure. So this is OPC UI server. Another extension which we recently introduced is the PRTG multiboard. This is a further development of PRTG desktop software. The difference is the PRTG desktop software can only manage one single core server, whereas the PRTG multiboard is designed to operate, to display and administer multi-core environment. Means that you can create and conduct the operations which are related to multi-core environment, such as moving objects between core servers, which is not possible with a standard version of desktop or browser version of PRTG web interface. So multiboard. And the next and also very great addition we recently introduced, these are the new extensions for the PRTG product family. They are known, or used to be known as a plugins from the company called Corp IT. So we incorporated them into our company, and those three extensions are extending PRTG functionality for many different use cases. It is available for all versions of Paessler PRTG, so either cloud version, so hosted version, or on-premises or enterprise version. And the first extension is called SLA Reporter, that closes the gap for SLA reporting, which was not available with PRTG. So with the PRTG SLA Reporter, you can now create SLA reports, monitor the SLA. So that makes your PRTG more feasible from a commercial point of view, because you can also report your uptime and so on. So this is a very great add-on for PRTG. So PRTG can SLA from now on with this SLA Reporter. The next extension is called PRTG Data Exporter. For all of you who operates PRTG already, you know that PRTG is utilizing its own database, and you can extract some data using the API calls, but you will not be able to extract it into any other, say, typical database. With the PRTG Data Exporter, we're closing this gap. So PRTG Data Exporter can export the data from PRTG database, from the single core or from the multi-cores, for many cores, in one SQL or Oracle database, which is then available at your disposal for any other operations like analysis, report, and so on. So with PRTG Data Exporter, you can export the PRTG metrics monitoring data to typical to usual database like Postgres and so on. So, and the next interesting extension for the PRTG product family is the PRTG Database Observer. As you know, PRTG supports monitoring of databases out of the box, but the database plugin, Database Observer, extending this functionality into way beyond of the PRTG possibilities, because with this you can also monitor some databases which are not supported by PRTG, like SAP HANA and so on. And the PRTG Database Observer also contains a lineup of predefined codes, so you can monitor, you can keep an eye of your databases with using PRTG much better from now on. Okay, so I would like to introduce you a little bit of overview. So what do we have now? So Paessler is the company on top of it. So then we have a Paessler PRTG family with the PRTG Network Monitor perpetual license, post-version subscription-based in cloud, and PRTG Enterprise Monitor subscription for hybrid or any other environments, also subscription for larger infrastructures. Then we have our extensions. Just to summarize, PRTG OPC US server to interconnect the OPC environments, the OT environments, and the IT environments. We have PRTG multi-board, giving the possibility to operate multi-core environment. Then we have our extensions, PRTG SLA Reporter, Data Exporter, PRTG Database Observer. By the way, all of these products are available as a trial at any time, so you can try it for 1 month. We're also offering PRTG training, consulting, and support, of course. And we also have some absolutely customized product we call IoT solutions. So Paessler Irrigation Monitor, Paessler Air Quality Monitor, Paessler Building Monitor. All of those products are not being delivered out of the shelf. So we do them in accordance to the project requirements. So if you have interesting project to monitor irrigation, air quality, or building, let us know. We can create a tailor-based product for you. And the next one, and that will be very soon, very interesting because we have Julian with us. The Qbilon, this is a very interesting company with very interesting product, joined us recently, and they offering their own very interesting product, Qbilon Ultimate and the cloud versions. So roughly known as BI for your IT. So do not forget that we also have our license ecosystem. So that means whatever we cannot deliver ourselves, we have our partners who is covering one or the other aspect of your IT and OT infrastructure. And if you see the logo here, that means that the products delivered by these companies, by these partners, are integrated or can be integrated into PRTG. So, and a very short example. So what we've done recently, the Minister President of Bavaria, you see him here, the Markus Söder, together with our CEO, Helmut, they met on the grounds here in Nuremberg, very close to our headquarters. And Mr. Söder, the Bavarian president, saw the project we've made together with the company Comtac, and this is the smart irrigation project in our agricultural area here next to our headquarters, where for monitoring is PRTG is being used. And we received a great warm words from Markus Söder, saying that this is very nice to see the German company supporting German agriculture. So same here for Israel. There's also a good possibility because you have very well established agricultural systems, very high tech systems. So it makes sense to offer PRTG into your smart irrigation projects, for example. So, and now a transition to the next and very important part of our presentation today, the Qbilon, the company and the product, which will help you to get at absolute transparency into your IT infrastructure. And that's over to you, Julian. So I'm stopping.
Thank you very much. Let me just share my screen. Just need a couple of seconds to go on. So, so there we go. Okay, hope you can see my screen now. So I'm happy to be here today. It's a great opportunity to tell you what Qbilon can do and can contribute to managing IT landscapes in an efficient way. And
Julian, sorry, we can't see your screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Try that again. So I hope it works now.
Yes, we see IT transparency.
Okay, that's great. Just here. So, okay. So it's all about IT transparency, which is the basis for all of our use cases. And as Slava mentioned, we are now part of the Paessler family. So what is Qbilon all about? Let me give you a short summary of what we are actually doing. So Qbilon in a nutshell, Qbilon is a platform for automatically capturing and analyzing hybrid IT landscapes, meaning that you can capture data from cloud data sources like AWS or Azure, and you can capture data from all your on-prem data sources which run in your network. And what we're doing with this is we create a comprehensive and a consistent IT map by merging all the IT data from very different sources, from different abstraction layers. And this IT map is then the basis for multiple use cases because it provides full IT transparency. And it can be used, for example, to lower your staff workload by reducing the effort for manually capturing the IT documentation, keeping it up to date, and we automate this process. You can effectively reduce costs by identifying cost drivers with Qbilon. You can improve your security by identifying security vulnerabilities within your IT landscape, and you can, in general, identify critical dependencies, for example, single points of failure, very easily with Qbilon. So why are we doing this? We saw that large companies and middle-sized companies do face a lot of challenges concerning their IT landscapes. And one of these challenges is the time-consuming manual data input, because it requires a great effort for their staff to keep the IT documentation up to date. This is a very tedious work, and if it's done by people instead of computer programs, the documentation is often, on the one hand, outdated, and on the other hand, incomplete and maybe even incorrect. So you are not able to see all of your IT landscape in the up-to-date status. So the transparency is missing, and you can't use your IT documentation for a strategic planning. So one of the reasons for this is that most of the IT staff is busy with constant firefighting instead of IT innovation, meaning that they're already busy with their daily work and they have no time for documenting the IT landscape which is in addition, in most cases, very complex. But what you want to have is an IT governance to support your continuous transformation process, which is taking place at the same time as you're documenting your IT landscape. And one crucial factor is that IT landscapes are rapidly changing. This wasn't always the case, and the speed of change has risen. So it's very complicated to oversee all this because it looks different every day. So it's very hard to understand the dependencies and the effects that new IT assets and new IT landscapes have. And this is the final point. IT landscapes have become unmanageably complex. So there's a strong trend for companies to move their IT assets from on-prem to cloud landscapes, and this has a great effect on the complexity of IT landscapes, which are just becoming bigger and bigger, and you cannot oversee this on your own. So what we are doing is, what we're promising is, we provide all the customers, all the MSPs, all the resellers with an up-to-date overview of the whole IT landscape. And this overview is always up to date because Qbilon constantly captures the data and builds the analysis, the views that are interesting for the customers or MSPs. And some of the basic use cases are that you can use Qbilon to effectively relieve your staff from the tedious manual documentation work. You can easily save costs by finding the cost drivers. And for example, you can increase the security because you can quickly find spots in your IT landscape that do not comply with your guidelines. So what's the basis for all this? The technique behind is called architecture mining. And it's all about bringing together very different data sources like enterprise architecture information on a high abstraction level, as well as monitoring information on a technical level. So we bring together these various data sources to build one comprehensive architectural snapshot. And the snapshot is the IT map that I mentioned before. And this enables us to get full transparency because you can now see all your IT elements, all your assets, and you can see the dependencies between these assets, which are the crucial part. So how do we offer our Qbilon product? We have two product versions right now. One of them is Qbilon Ultimate, which is built for bringing together data from cloud and on-prem data sources. And we have a specialized version, which is called Qbilon Cloud, which concentrates on merging just the cloud data sources. For example, Azure or Entra ID, AWS, and soon there will be Google Cloud Platform as well. And you can, both of these products can be used as a SaaS solution, which we host in the Azure Cloud, or you can use both of them in your on-premises environment. For example, running them as a Docker container. So you don't need an internet connection for this. It can run in your network if you want that. So how is Qbilon working in the first place? How are all these data sources brought together? There are three basic steps that Qbilon does to create this IT map. So the first step is the automatic import and merging of data from different sources. What we see here on the left side are some examples of the data sources that we currently capture, that we're currently drawing data from. For example, the cloud platforms like AWS and Azure, or a virtualization platform like VMware. We get data from IT management software like LeanIX, which is an enterprise architecture management tool. Of course, we are heavily using data from PRTG, because this is our product now as well. So there's a very good connection to get all the data from PRTG. We are receiving data from monitoring tools like Dynatrace and Darktrace as well. Darktrace is a security AI solution. And you can always import data from Excel files, from JSON imports from other tools, or from CSV files. So there is an open there's a way to integrate all the data from standard formats as well. And you can always add manual information. Maybe there is some data that is only in the heads of your IT staff and it needs to be digitized, and then you can add the data. You can always edit what Qbilon found. And all this data is brought together in one big IT map, which shows all the assets. These are the dots, the boxes here, and the dependencies, which are the relations between these boxes. And this map is pretty big in most of the cases. And what you need is, and what Qbilon does is, you provide a mechanism to filter this big IT map in order to show you what you are interested in. For example, you can filter the map to quickly find the cost drivers. You can filter the map to show all IT assets that have security vulnerabilities right now. You can create rules for this, and then it will highlight and filter this big map to show you all the assets with which are in a critical state. Or you could, for example, select one of the many IT assets and tell the tool to show you all other IT assets that do depend on this asset. So you can see what happens if a certain server fails, which other IT assets, which other elements are affected by this. So what reasons are there to use Qbilon in the first place? What are we doing in a different way than others? Qbilon concentrates on collecting data that is already there. So we do not capture data on our own, but we focus on bringing together the data that is there, because it's pretty hard to combine this in one coherent map. So we do this in a very simple, a very fast and customizable way. So you can always adjust Qbilon to capture your data source. And this is a very quick and easy process. We combine cloud and on-prem data sources, which is very important because most of the companies do have a hybrid IT landscape, because there are, in most cases, in a transition to move more assets to the cloud, or maybe they want to keep all their assets on an on-prem landscape, and you need to capture and cover this as well. And we saw that IT landscapes are very different, so Qbilon is very flexible, and it provides you with the means to quickly create analysis and reports for your IT landscape, and to show you the factors that are important to a customer or to an MSP, and so on. And the most important part is it's constantly updated. So when data sources are connected, you tell Qbilon how often the data should be received and updated, and it will do that in the background. And every view and every analysis you look at will always be built on the current data. So let's take a look at some use cases to show you what Qbilon can do with certain data sources. We would just take a very quick look at them because there is a short live demo to show you how the tool looks like and how this looks like in real life, and not just on slides. So one basic use case is to identify hidden and to show you an overview of your IT inventory. Here is an example that shows a table view for all the servers that are there in the IT landscape. And you see on the right side on the screenshot that there are 2 servers highlighted that merge certain criteria, where we'll see later in the short live demo what this exactly means. But as you can see here, Qbilon automatically creates such an inventory list, and the information is collected from on-prem data sources as well as cloud data sources. And you can all see, you can see all the IT assets here in one table, and this is used as a planning basis. For example, if all the old operating systems are highlighted here, servers with old operating systems, you can use such a table view to create a report which servers should be updated, which servers should be disabled or transformed. So this supports always up-to-date reporting, and it shows you what the status of your, well, in this case, servers looks like. And the data sources that we used here for this example are, for example, PRTG. We used some data from vCenter and also from an old and manually maintained Excel list. Another use case, which is very, very common, very interesting for most of the customers, is to find hidden dependencies. So what we're doing here is what we call a context analysis, and a context analysis shows the IT landscapes from a certain point of view. So you select one IT asset, let's say one server or one group of servers, and it shows you all things that depend on this specific asset. So it shows what is affected, what is the impact if some asset is missing. And we see here on the right side that there's a group in the middle which is selected, and we see the whole, let's call it, neighborhood of this IT asset. So all things connected with this are highlighted here. And we have a second example which is a bit clearer. And what we see here is on the top, there is one IT asset which is a product, and you see all IT assets which depend on this product. For example, in green, there are applications depending on a certain product. In yellow, you see services, and the blue ones are the actual computing resources, Azure resources, and servers in the basement of this specific company. And you can draw some conclusions here. For example, if one of the computing resources fails, then you exactly know which service would be affected by this, which application would be affected by this, and in the end, which product would be affected by this. Another short example is the simplified cloud cost management. Qbilon does automatically create reports in the background if you add a cloud data source or a virtualization data source. And the idea behind this is to provide quick insights for multidimensional cost aggregation. So if there are several accounts in AWS or Azure, or multiple accounts, hundreds of them, then Qbilon brings the information from all these accounts together and shows in one report all the costs that are incurred here and where they are coming from. So this is some kind of contextual analysis for all the costs that are there, and you can make a deep dive to see where are they coming from. So this multiple account coverage is one of the main advantages. One last quick example is you can easily monitor risks and targets. So what we have done here is we analyzed the IT landscape of one customer, and we highlighted the test services in orange and the production services in gray. And the expectation of the customer was that there are no connections, no dependencies between test services and production services. But the situation was a little bit different. There were many dependencies, many connections, and he used this view to highlight those parts of the IT landscape where there are connections which violate the guidelines of this customer. So you can use Qbilon to ensure conformity with your architectural specifications. And these are just some examples of what you can do with Qbilon. Qbilon is something like a Swiss Army knife for your IT landscape. Here are some ideas that you could also pursue when analyzing your IT landscape. For example, you can use Qbilon as a source to import data into your CMDB or your EAM tool. What we do, for example, is we collect all data and we can write the IT map, all the information back to a ServiceNow database. So we can use Qbilon to fill up a ServiceNow database. So it's not just a one-way ticket to Qbilon. Qbilon can also send back data to other tools. You can use Qbilon to connect your incident management system so that you can see which tickets from your incident management system are associated with which IT assets in your IT landscape. Or you could also connect your cost management software with Qbilon so that you can see which costs do come from which assets, which group of assets, and how are they connected. So the basic thing is we can heavily reduce the effort for your IT documentation. Here's a quote from one of our pilot customers from the Stadtwerke München, which is the biggest public utility company in Germany. And they are using Qbilon for their IT landscape. And we were able to reduce the work for them and to provide them with an always up-to-date IT landscape. Here are some other pilot customers as well. There are more customers, but we cannot name them all because not everybody wants to appear in such a slide, because when you help people to solve their IT problems, they don't want to be presented in public all the time. So that was just an overview. Now we can jump directly into the tool so that you can see how does this actually look like in real life. So let me just open my, I hope you can still see my screen. Let's see if this is right. So it's still working, I guess. And there is already one question. Maybe we can answer that first. It's from Ari Wallman.
No, got that fixed. We can go on.
Okay. Then I can go on with the short demo. What you see here is the starting screen of Qbilon, the home screen. And there are already multiple views defined. So each of these tiles is one view which shows you a specific aspect of your IT landscape. And we can take a look at one example view, which is very interesting. It brings together the products, the departments, the computing resources within one IT landscape, and it shows them in such a big map. And if you zoom in, you see there are a lot of IT assets, and this is quite a messy overview. What you want to do is you want to see the dependencies for one product that you know, and we can just search for this one product. Let's identify it, and we can easily create a view that only shows us the dependencies for this product. So what we do here, we open a context view, and we tell the tool that we want to see all the IT assets that do depend on this specific product. And then it takes some seconds for the tool to create a map for this selected product, and we can relay out this map to create such a pyramid view that gives us the specific product on the top of this view and all the dependencies beneath it. So what we see here is a product on the top. We see all the applications in green that do depend on this product. On the next level, on a more technical level, we see all the services that are associated with certain applications here. And on the bottom, we see, like in the screenshot, the actual computing resources that are used by the services here. So we could also toggle the relation labels to see that these services are connected with, for example, here, a server in the basement of the company. And you can use this view to go through all the IT assets. For example, we selected here the loan comment agents, and we see on the right side all the information that is collected by Qbilon for this specific IT asset. And what you can derive from such a depiction is that if this server fails, then the service will be affected, and so on. So this is an overview which can easily show you critical dependencies or single points of failure, for example. And there's a multitude of other views. We can take a look at, for example, the server view that we also saw on the slides. This is a list of all the servers within a company, and it's a pretty long list. You can navigate through it. And what we've done here is we created an easy rule to highlight those servers with Windows 7. And this rule can be easily edited, and you could just use every property that Qbilon collected to highlight certain servers. And as there are 115 servers here, we want to further reduce this list, for example, to those instances that do run Windows 7. There are 18 of them, and those who are powered off. So these rules that I have here on the right side can easily be edited. For example, the power off rule is just one condition. It says if power off is equal to if power state is equal to power off, then this rule should apply, and you could just add conditions as you like. It's a very easy system to quickly edit those rules on the right side. But they are there to easily filter such a long list to a smaller list. And these lists can also be exported to be further used for other reports. So these views are all highly flexible and editable. And if you want to add certain information, you could always activate the edit mode, and you could add properties here. You could modify things that you know better, or you could just add, for example, a responsible person, and information which maybe cannot be derived from data sources. Maybe you can take a short look at the security use case as well. So there are plenty of them. Let's just take a look at, for example, a view that integrates elements from AWS. For example, here this EU Central is an AWS region with several IT assets in it, and from Azure. This is what we see here in the blue boxes. This is all in one view, and it shows us several EC2 instances. It shows us security groups, network security groups, and so on. And here the colors do indicate the type of the IT asset. For example, blue assets are computing resources, and purple assets are, in this case, private clouds and network interfaces. We have 3 rules here on the right side, which show us which IT assets do have some critical property. For example, we can highlight all those assets which are accessible through any IP, so from all over the world. And we see here that there are 3 assets here in AWS.
Julian, sorry, yeah. We can't see your screen. We can't see your screen.
Just restarting this. So, hope now it works again. So, depiction like this can be easily used to.
No, we still don't see.
No, we just see your screen.
Okay, that's.
No.
Okay. I'm not that experienced with Zoom. I'm very sorry. Just using Teams and Google Meet for my whole life.
We can't see your screen. We can't see your screen. It's a black.
Okay. So, sorry, the screen sharing is active.
No,
you can see it.
I can see it.
May continue. Yes, Julian.
Oh, okay. That's great. So we defined 3 easy rules here on the right side, which highlight those elements that currently have security issues. For example, this rule here tells us that there is an open port for HTTP access, so it's not encrypted. And these rules can be used to quickly find those IT assets that violate some guidelines that you have. And these rules are also very simple. You can just add conditions here. You can always select a property which is collected by Qbilon from the data sources, and you can tell the tool that it should interpret those properties in a certain way. So you could use several conditions or just one to create such rules, such highlighting rules. Yeah. And so there are very many use cases for Qbilon. For example, what we just saw with the HTTP communication. You could also take a look at this in a big graph view, which shows all the servers, all the communication between servers, and highlights those communication dependencies that only use HTTP instead of HTTPS. And such a view can be created within minutes. It's very easy. What you see is what you get editor. And you can just work with such views, for example, by further filtering it and bringing it down to those elements that are critical in the way of non-encryption communication. So it's very easy to navigate through all this. So this was just some examples of what you can do with Qbilon. I think we need some time for questions as well, so feel free to ask everything. So I saw some hands rising already. I don't know if people can pose their questions in an hearable way, or if they have to put them in the chat.
In Q&A, please, yeah. But we don't see questions so far.
So there's just one by Ari, but I think so. No questions as I understand it. So I guess we're already at the end.
Yep. So we tried our best to get some question answers, but still there is also the possibility to ask your questions later on to me or to Julian. So directly via Multipoint, via any partners. So thank you very much. It was great to talk to you, and let's stay in touch for demos, for trial versions. Please revert to us. We'll be happy to support you. And if you have any projects you could think of in the pipeline, also let us know. We'll be happy to realize your project. So, Lars, thank you very much from our side.
Thank you.
And have a great rest of the week ahead.
So from our side, from Multipoint, we wish to thank you, Sasha and Julian. And we are here for all of you audience in receiving all the professional help you need, all the engineering, all the pre-sales, the professional services. We are here for you to help you. So thank you very much, and see you next time.
See ya. Thank you.
See you. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Goodbye.